All right, peace, peace, peace. Well, first and foremost, hopefully the Most High in your house shall blessing your day. By His mercies you are consumed. We're alive in the Most High in your house shall's body, and two are naturally alive, man. I want to get into this, man, because actually, this morning, actually, a brother sent me. He was just talking about it, and we going into how to. Let's go to Matthew, like real quick, man. The spirit is willing and the flesh is weak. So he kind of sent that to me, but he's kind of mentioned that. Well, he said that actually. So I want to get into this, man. I actually had this down for a while back, but let's get this though, man. It says, let's get in Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. It says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit is indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Exactly. So, and that happens, man. But, and I want to get into this, man, because that was a few weeks ago. And now I was just looking back at it, looking at it in Jeremiah 31 and 26, because even though, like it said, even the verses above that, he was sorrowful unto death, but this sleep, like his death was still sweet, because he knew he would resurrect from the dead. That's why the spirit, because the flesh, he was sorrowful unto death. And don't get twisted. That's why the James chapter 5 and 17 kicks in. These are regular, like even it says Yahushua made it, made it no thing to become like his brethren, man. Because he had a human flesh, of course, but that's why, because listen, man, that's why we always go into, man, these were holy and righteous people, man. But these still was regular people like you and me. That's why James chapter 5 and 17 kicks in. And also too, where was that else at? So somewhere else Paul says like passions, man. So yeah, these are still regular people, man. So it's like, so how much more if that's the thing too, because here's the thing, right? People think, like, you shout the brothers send me firstborn. Other brothers as well. Other people as well throughout my walk and hearing this. Because I heard this, throughout my walk as well. But I really, he really hit the bullseye. He hit the dart on the bullseye with this. Because people think that just because we're in the word, no matter what fraction it's too, because brothers and sisters in Christianity, Jehovah's Witnesses, Baptist, Pentecostal, whatever fraction in the spiritual theory that you deal with the word, but more importantly in the knowledge that we think the human experience goes away, and that doesn't and that's not the case, because the Most High House, the Bible, man, the scriptures, man, it's like the deadly, like the movie Deadly Venoms, man. It just covers like all styles, it covers like everything, but still, honestly, because it covers prophecy, history, things in the actual science, as far as anatomy, or the bodies, or the or all this other stuff too. But don't get it twisted though. Even though it covers all that stuff, even though but honestly, the words, because even it covers a lot of stuff though, but it covered, but it doesn't cover every aspect though, of the human, there's certain things that this word just doesn't cover. So people think that's why a lot of people scoff it, but that's neither here nor there. But what was I going to say? But yeah, man, that's just is what it is though. But yeah, that's just because that's what I was gonna say. Cause at the end of the day, man, these are words of salvation. Honestly, like the brother of Assembly, your firstborn perfectly said, me, these are words of salvation at the end of the day, because that's what it is. The words to say, like Killer Priest has a song Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth, man. Even though that's acronym, but yeah, but yeah, man, that's just is what it is, man. These are words of salvation, but that's neither here nor there, man. But we're gonna get into how the flesh is willing and the spirit is weak, man. Because even though Yahushua was sorrowful unto death, man, and we gonna but the spirit but the flesh, he was weak in the flesh then, but he was but the spirit was willing, because why? Because he knew he was gonna resurrect from the dead, man. So yeah, let's get this Jeremiah chapter 21 verse 31 verse 25. It says, for I have sedated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. Yeah, because he was sorrowful unto death. But it says here's a point though. Let's grab this. It says, because it's all going to the resurrection of the dead. Upon this I awakened and beheld, my sleep was sweet unto me. So yeah, his sleep was sweet unto him. And we're gonna get two other places, two other witnesses that says the sleep will be sweet, man. Because you know why? Because he knew he was gonna resurrect. let's grab a Psalm chapter 3 verse 5. Then you go get the Proverbs 3 and verse 4. It says Psalm chapter 3 verse 5. I laid me down to sleep. I'm sorry. Psalm chapter 3 verse 5. I laid me down to sleep. I wait for the Lord sustain me. So yeah, exactly. He did, man. And also too on the natural tip, it goes into sometimes that goes into that Mark 11:24. Pray like it's already been happening, or like Sirach goes into the richest can't take away sleep, or like not even the richest, the thought of like the bills and like expenses, life and things of that nature. This take a nap, man. Like this on natural tip, like and play on some prayers on, or like some calm music, man. And like this calm take a minute, like then you then pray, then to realize that the Most High Yahshua is going to sustain you, man. Like is going to do as long as you're doing His will. Or sometimes even if He doesn't, man, like He's just trying you through the fire, and sometimes too, just like we talking about, then some things is life as well, man. But let's just grab it, man. And that's why it says in His time He will get you your reward, like Sirach, the last chapter and verse says. But yeah, man. Let's just grab this too, like Psalms chapter 3 and verse 5 again. It says, Psalms chapter 3 verse 5. It says, the Lord has I laid me down to sleep. I wait for the Lord. I wait for the Lord to sustain me. So see, that's why in the Shema it says that. Shout out to Brother Sammy Firstborn for pointing out, because it's like, listen, because the word can be in you like while you sleep on natural tip, yeah, but but really this is talking about him being like, it slept, like being in the grave, man. But the word being in you, because if the word in you can't die, and we see that with Elisha, man, with the bones prophesying. But yeah, anyway, let's let's grab this too. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 6 and 7. This is all what Yahushua did, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, which he did, and shall talk to them while sittest in thine house, yea, in the Lord's house, which he did. He gave the gospel, witness, the testimony, all that stuff he did. When thou walkest by the way, yeah, he was around preaching the gospel, man. And he is the way. So when our walk is in the way, he is the way. So we got walk as he walked, like 1 John 2 and 6 says. It says when thou lies down. See, when thou lies down is that's like that's talking about actually when he goes into the grave, and when thou rises up, when the resurrection from the dead. Pretty much, if the word in you can't die, because he know that he's gonna resurrect from the dead. Because this is more than talking about just falling asleep, things of that nature. Even like Ephesians goes into let not the sun go upon down when you're on your wrath. Yeah, it's not just going. It's not really on the natural tip. Yes, it's talking about going to bed angry. Yeah, on the natural tip. But that's really talking about that sun is really knowledge, wisdom, understanding, that light. Don't get so upset that that have a type of Saul type of spirit, or envy, wrath, or a lust, whatever it is that it alters your understanding. That's why I got to stay in spirit, walk in the spirit. It's it's all going into that. But yeah, and thou shalt be in and when thou rises up. So see, yeah, exactly, man. So let's go all going into the word being in you, even because one word in you, like we said with Elisha, in the bones, the word you can't die, man. So that's why it says put it in thine heart, man. But anyway, let's grab Proverbs chapter 24 now, man. And it says Proverbs chapter 24. And it says, when thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Yeah, just like we read earlier in Jeremiah. Because why? Because he knew he was going to resurrect. Yahushua knew he was going to resurrect from dead. And the same hope should be with us. Let's get to Job chapter 19, verse 25. And that's just a part of the whole bitter and sweet thing. This whole thing, because even if he was sorrowful unto death, that's just part of it, man. Like the words, having it, being in this knowledge, man, it could be, it's very sweet. It's very being in this word, it's very sweet. The Most High Yahushua opened your eyes, man, to life. like, to them, which is life. Like, and being, you could be naturally alive, but spiritually been dead. But now, but you're going through, but like it says in Acts, much tribulation comes the kingdom, man. So it's going to be times bitter. You might be sorrowful in death. You still going to go through the human experience, man. That stuff just don't go away. But, and the shrine of the faith, all that stuff. But Job chapter 19, verse 25, 19 verse 25. Yeah, it says, "For I know my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand on up at the earth on the latter day upon the earth." So yeah, so he says, "I know my Redeemer liveth." Yeah, exactly. That he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. So yeah, and that's kind of going to Hebrews 1:1, which he in the last days the word, like, and one just talking about Yahushua, like, just in general that verse, but oh, drop my cap anyway. But that's just going into that as well. But yeah, man, that's just going into the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, man. But that's also too like the resurrection, man. Like yeah, man, that's just is what it is. Like that's why I was actually looking at that in First Thessalonians the other day, man. Like yeah, man. So that's just is what it is, man. I get Ecclesiastes real quick, man. Just going into that because being sorrowful. Because some people, one might say like, how could it have been like, sleep be sweet? How could his sleep be sweet? I mean, the sleep they did with him dying be sweet, but he was sorrowful unto death, like because why? Here's why. There's other places, Revelation and Sirach, but Ecclesiastes, but we get Ecclesiastes, but we're just gonna go here. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse oh gosh, yeah, exactly. And 18, I'm sorry. It said, "For much wisdom is much grief." And he's the wisest, like, the greatest Solomon's here. And so Solomon's the greatest He was the greatest. He was the wisest man that ever walked the earth until Yahushua came. So it says, and Yahushua is the wisdom man. Like it says, "For much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge and increases sorrowful." Yeah, and also too, I was just looking at John 3:30 earlier, man. When John the Baptist says he must increase, so I must decrease, man. So Yahushua's increasing, man. There was like that gospel, him had to like he's sorrowful unto death, even in his increase, man. Because that he died to save many, man. Like one for the Most High Yahushua, I mean for their namesake, but also too to save us from sin and death, and also too like that like much wisdom comes much sorrow, man. Honestly, because what it is too, like here's the thing, right? With this, even outside the world with great men, but much more the prophets, man. That's why, like gotta be. Here's the thing too. I meant to say this too because there was a rapper here that got killed, man. And the young brother, man, actually great, man. Because in this envious city, he was actually trying to be a light in there on the natural tip, man. Just reaching positivity on the youth, man. What's his name? The young brother Quad. But it was a video like the next day or two that the brother, a brother that posted a video about it. He said, "Man, Philly, what happened, man? Like why would you like certain people should be protected?" And I agree with most of the brothers saying. He said, "Yo, why would y'all kill him?" But I'm not surprised because it's envious place. But the brother called him a prophet. I'm like, oh, I was like, all right, brother, like, but I get it. I mean, if you're not in the word, like, a lot of times too, like, but people don't understand. That's why Job says, like, keep me from vain titles, or we got to really watch the titles we put on ourselves and like, and put on other people, or sometimes let other people put on us and like, no, because, a lot of times too, to my point, a lot of times the prophet things like that, it was a lot of times it was a burden, like the brother Chronicle Judah said years ago, man. It's like a burden because a lot of times too, like, that's why Amos, his name means burden, because like even in Amos, he said, listen, I was just agriculturist, man. I was like a herdman, man. The Most High Yahushua made me a prophet, man. And that was a lot of times it was a burden. It was a lot to take on. So calling like calling yourself that, man. It's honestly like like call other people that, calling yourself that, man. You gotta be mindful of that, man. Because like a lot of times too, pretty much too, that's what Sirach 20 goes into. Like they that put themselves in authority shall be hated, man. Because one, the Most High Yahushua, man, were ordained them, man. Like and a lot of times too, those men, like they didn't even seek that out. It was the Lord's will for them to be that, man. Honestly. Like, like Jeremiah 1:5, Isaiah 49:5, and John, he said, "Ye have not chosen me, I have chosen you." So all that stuff, man. But anyway, man, yeah, man, that's how it could be. For in much wisdom is much grief, and much he that increases knowledge increases sorrowful. But yeah, that's how because like that's how it can be. That's how it can be both. He was sorrowful unto death, but his sleep is sleep. His sleep was sweet. His death was sweet because he knew he was going to resurrect from the dead, and that's where the faith kicks in, man. But that's it, man. I was really wanted to get into that. Hopefully this is edifying for y'all brothers and sisters, man. So yeah, I'm a little tired. So peace.